Tonight, a push to press pause
We can commit to not expanding the program until we see that legislation.
on the region's speed cameras, the effort to halt an expanding program that the province is moving to shut down, demanding their deposits,
And it was always stated that we would have the option to get our deposit back.
buyers feeling burned over a delayed condo development,
I can tell you that the developer never had, nor does it have, any policy to return refunds or to refund the deposits to the purchasers.
looking for solutions. Sudden shutdown.
And there was absolutely no indication that it was going to be closed.
Families frustrated by the unexpected closure of a gym
I am very disappointed because I never knew.
and the unknown status
That's the risk that you run as a consumer when you give money ahead of time.
of some of their payments. Good evening. We begin with the ongoing debate over automated speed cameras. Premier Doug Ford has promised legislation to get rid of them. Now a region of Waterloo councillor is proposing putting a pause on expanding them locally. CTV's Colton Weens has more.
Enough is enough. In a few weeks, our government will introduce legislation to ban speed cameras in Ontario.
A week since Premier Doug Ford made those remarks, nothing official has been tabled. But Regional Councillor Colleen James wants to halt expanding the speed camera program in the region of Waterloo.
There's no legislation that is tabled right now. We'll keep it as is, but you know what? We can commit to not expanding the program until we see that legislation and what that looks like.
6 new speed cameras are set to go live on Wednesday. But for Tuesday, James has put forward a notice of motion for the Administration and Finance Committee meeting to pause expansion.
We have over 200 schools, so we're not going to expand at this point. That's what the motion says.
Along with pausing expansion, the motion would also pause any new hiring of staff, but keep existing cameras operating, and a study would be done on the implications of ending the program. Well, James would like to see a pause put on expanding the program. She doesn't think there's a point in canceling it right now, but she does think there's an opportunity to make some adjustments.
Edit the policy to make it current to time, to reflect, what people are asking for, not necessarily cancel the whole thing, but to maybe provide some parameters around time of day, fines, thresholds.
The program seems to be working. Since February, average speeds in region school zones dropped by 15 kilometers an hour.
55% of people changed behavior, slowing down. So it has an impact, and it's a tool, one of many tools. We can also have speed bumps. We can also have flashing lights.
And I hear this throughout the community. The speeding in the community is a major problem.
Fellow Regional Councillor Doug Craig has suggested canceling the program, but plans to support the motion, adding if the province is going to change legislation, he wants to see a plan for a replacement as well.
It's the fact that the provincial government authorized speed cameras. Now they're taking them away. Now they're leaving us with the bill. And now we still have a speeding problem. So what I want to see happen is for us to start moving on with alternative plans to deal with the speeding in the community.
The committee meets on Tuesday. If the motion passes, it would still need to go to Regional Council for final approval. James says the committee will also discuss next week whether to go ahead with the 6 cameras set to be installed on Wednesday. Colton Weens, CTV News, Kitchener.
Let's head outside for our first look at the weather with Alex Pinto on our patio at the back. And why not, Alex? Another gorgeous evening as we head towards sunset tonight.
Yeah, it really, really is not a bad place to be right now, especially too. Things are cooling down a little bit, but it's quite comfortable overall being outside. Now, if you were outside this afternoon and you were in that direct sunlight, it would have felt probably a little bit warmer than the 20-degree high that we hit today. But starting with our satellite radar map, mainly clear conditions, nice blue sky. Again, still seeing a little bit of that sunshine out there and a little bit of cloud cover we're noticing, but overall just a nice light breeze into the air. And temperature-wise, yeah, many of us in that upper teens, lower 20 range. Again, earlier today, if you were in that direct sunlight, it would have felt a little bit warmer, but right now conditions quite cooling down a little bit, quite comfortable, but even getting into the overnight lows, that's when we're really noticing it cool down quite a bit, and first thing in the morning as well. Now that said, another warm up is expected to be on the way as we look ahead before the weekend. I'm going to break it all down in your full forecast a little bit later. Tony.
Okay, Alex, thank you. Talk to you shortly. Next, what appears to be a stalemate involving a delayed condo development in Kitchener. Some buyers say they were promised an option to get out of their contracts and get their deposits back. The developer says that's not the case. CTV's Jeff Pickle joining us now with new reporting on this story. This is, of course, a development along Weber Street West that we've been reporting on already. Jeff, what are you hearing now from buyers?
Well, Tony, these people, they're sharing their receipts in the forms of audio recordings, emails, and documents. They say they were assured by a real estate company working on the developer's behalf that if they chose, they could get their money back, and were never told this wasn't an option until very late in the game. Back in 2020, AJ Lewis says he was excited purchasing his first home.
So I knew I had time, and I thought that was a smart way to get into home ownership.
But by 2024, that optimism had vanished.
We started getting news that the builder is losing money, he's going into bankruptcy, and we didn't know what the future held for this project.
After construction stalled and going through bankruptcy, a new group of investors revived the project. Lewis says buyers were presented with two options.
And it was always stated that we would have the option to get our deposit back, or we could stay in the project and it would be a 24% increase.
In an email from October 2024, the receivership group who handled the sale of the bankrupt development said after the transaction closes, if you decline, your agreement will be terminated and you will then receive an email from the deposit insurer with instructions to have your deposit returned. Then in March of 2025, in a phone call from Captain Real Estate working on behalf of the new developers,
it was the fact that because of the fact that the first builder went bankrupt, or the whole idea of this whole receivership is that you want to be able to, the first normal option is always to give back your deposits. That's the number one option I usually give.
Another buyer providing this audio recording from December of 2024 with the same real estate agent.
Second option is you say, okay, you know what? I don't want the unit and I would just prefer to retain my deposit back.
Yeah, that's our option.
Yeah, which is, if that's your option, then you would do the same thing the builder would do, just you'd be doing it yourself. You just file insurance and collect the money.
Later telling the buyer,
yeah, that's fair. It's whatever you're comfortable with. That's the whole thing, is like they can't force you into it. It's whatever you find comfortable.
Lewis says through these communications, he thought he was out of the deal.
So it was about in August of 2025 that I received a phone call from my lawyer, and they were telling me that I have to take occupancy of this unit, which was totally a blindside.
According to the developer, buyers were never given an option to terminate the deal.
I'm not here to argue with any purchasers for what they understood, who they spoke to. We don't know, and I for sure don't know. I can tell you that the developer never had, nor does it have, any policy to return refunds or to refund the deposits to the purchasers. Out of the question, it was never an option.
Steiner says to his knowledge, no one was given authority to offer a termination.
We have spoken to the real estate people over the course of time. They've said no, they've never done this. I'm not going to speculate why people understood or misunderstood.
According to Lewis and a handful of other buyers, someone is not telling the truth.
So the receiver's word should be the word of Elm Developments. If there was an option to get our deposit back and terminate the contract, I'm sure the receiver spoke about that with the builder.
We reached out to Captain Real Estate, who confirmed their role as a liaison between the builders and purchasers, but says they do not have the authority or decision-making power to influence or make changes to contracts. They did not respond directly to questions about the information allegedly communicated to these buyers.
Well, Jeff Pickle's back live with us now. Jeff, this appears to be a really difficult situation for these buyers. Are there any next steps for them?
Well, Tony, and actually the situation is much worse for several of these people who are now in default because the builder may now be able to keep their deposit and sue them for damages. However, we did speak with a legal expert who says these people still do have some options to fight for a better outcome. We'll have to take a look into that side of the story tomorrow.
Okay, Jeff, we'll look forward to your continued reporting on this issue. Appreciate it. CTV's Jeff Pickle live with the latest on that condo development. Thousands of striking college support workers were joined by students, faculty, and other unions today at rallies across several Ontario campuses. This latest show of solidarity comes as the strike enters its 4th week with no end in sight. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
Hundreds of support workers rallied outside Humber College as the strike continues into its 4th week.
We're out here because we want a better system. We want to do better for our students, and we want to be back at work.
None of us want to be out here, but with the funding cuts, the wage cuts, the lack of job security, the CEC has basically said, take it or leave it. If you don't like it, you can go pound salt.
Workers say they're fighting to protect jobs amidst one of the largest mass layoffs in the province's history, and upwards of 650 programs have been suspended or cancelled. Just last week, Georgian College announced it will be shuttering campuses in Orillia and Muskoka.
Let's not shut down more programs. Let's not lay off more, folks who don't need to be losing their jobs.
The job action initially started on September the 11th, when about 10,000 workers at 24 colleges walked off the job. Mediation had commenced, but talks broke down on Monday between OPSU, the workers' union, and the CEC, the College Employer Council.
I know that they're doing it for a good cause, but it's a bit obstructing to me. They're frustrating.
It's strange because, I'm going on the first class, and I have it in person, second class online, so I need to find some place to sit in there.
The union says it sympathizes with students, but says the employer refused any job security language that would clear the path to a settlement. Meanwhile, the CEC says it has tabled enhanced offers that total more than $155 million.
We made a very generous proposal over the weekend, and we've asked them to share that with all their members. We really hope that members get to read it. It's enhanced technological protections, enhanced severance, we've increased wages. It's a number of things that they've demanded we've given.
Contract talks started on June the 1st, and the workers have been without a contract since September the 1st. In addition to this rally, there were 5 other rallies held at colleges across the province, including Georgian College in Orillia. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Ottawa has updated its travel advice for the U.S. with a cautionary note about gender-neutral passports. The advisory warns that while Canada issues passports with an X marker for people who don't identify as strictly male or female, it cannot guarantee entry or transit through other countries, including the U.S., for travelers who use that designation. The statement goes on to warn travelers may be asked to provide their gender information as either male or female. For the second time in 4 days, computer outages at the Canadian Border Services Agency led to big delays for travelers at Canadian airports. But as CTV's Beth McDonnell reports, today's delay was nothing like the one that affected passengers on Sunday.
Appearing to create long lines, the Canada Border Service Agency outage first knocked out the primary inspection kiosks at Pearson and other airports on Sunday for 10 hours. Today it happened again for about 3 hours.
I went through the whole process, but then slip came out that says incomplete. So I had to stand in the line to fill up the form and come out.
When I got there, they said that the photo capture was down. So the slip that you normally get, it didn't have our picture on it. But honestly, it was very quick. I got through security and customs very easily.
The purpose of the kiosks are to verify international passengers' identities and for them to declare their travel information. According to Toronto Pearson's website, today's outage didn't hit at a peak travel time. The CBSA says this second outage in 5 days was linked to the system outage on Sunday that was caused by an unforeseen technical problem during routine systems maintenance and was not the result of a cyber attack.
Good we didn't come on Sunday and we came today when for me it was a smooth sailing, no problem.
The CBSA says when the kiosks went down, travelers were redirected for manual processing. It says safety and security standards are upheld at all times, with border services officers working to verify identities, receive declarations, and conduct additional screening warranted.
That was CTV's Beth McDonnell reporting from Pearson Airport. Sign up for the CTV Kitchener newsletter and start your day in the know. The day's top stories, the latest forecast, and must-see videos right to your inbox. Sign up at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Wanted workers for the holiday season. Coming up, Amazon says it's going on a hiring blitz in Cambridge, and we've got the details on what they'll be looking for.
We are feeling a bit of that breeze out here on our patio this hour. A bit of a cool down overnight, but then things could warm up ahead of the weekend. So I'll have more in your full forecast coming up.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news.
A day after a bombshell report into a multi-billion-dollar government fund that the province's Auditor General called neither fair nor transparent, we're learning more about some of where those millions of dollars went. As John Woodward reports, some people getting government grants were giving political donations.
I'm here with my friend Nick Simone.
That's a video of Premier Doug Ford giving businessman Nick Simone a King Charles Coronation Medal this summer, around the same time Simone was tapped to chair the board of Metrolinx, the province's transportation super agency. Simone is also the CEO of Pace Law Firm. That firm is slated to receive $3.3 million in grants from the Skills Development Fund for 2 programs, the firm says, that have expanded our internal capacity by hiring new staff as legal assistants, paralegals, lawyers, and administrative support. Simone's name is listed on over $13,000 in donations to the governing PC party since 2021. The firm itself gave over $20,000 when corporate donations were legal. And it's among several recipients of SDF money who happened to give political donations to the political party whose staff were deciding where the tax dollars went.
Not fair, transparent, or accountable.
That's according to a bombshell report Wednesday by the province's Auditor General, who said some $750 million went to projects nonpartisan bureaucrats ranked low, while some 1,000 high-ranking projects went unfunded. The company DentaCloud got $2 million to address the labor shortages in the dental industry and to upskill the dental workforce. DentaCloud director John McGearius got a King Charles Coronation Medal too. Records show McGearius gave some $23,000 to the PC since 2022, including $3,000 to then Labour Minister Monty McNaughton, seen here at a press conference hosted at a bar belonging to another political donor and fund recipient, Scale Hospitality. On Wednesday, current Labour Minister David Piccini said political staff were the best suited to decide the grants.
It's important that I and government, who are elected by the people, ultimately have the say in where these are going.
The Ford government has essentially taken a program designed to train workers, a good program designed to train workers, turning it into a slush fund.
Opposition MPPs say there's no way out of that conflict of interest, and objective bureaucrats should be making those calls.
All these connections and the lack of transparency.
Weeks into our reporting on this fund, we do have a full list of grant recipients, but not how each project was ranked or the money each got. That's despite our requests to the political staff. Requests we'll keep making. John Woodward, CTV News.
Some new seasonal jobs are coming to Cambridge as Amazon ramps up its hiring ahead of the holidays. 180 jobs are being created at Amazon's fulfillment center on Old Mill Road. This is part of a nationwide seasonal hiring effort. When that location opened last year, about 250 people were employed there at the time. These new jobs come as Amazon says it is raising its average hourly base wage across the country to $24.50 an hour. Job postings can be found on Amazon's website. The sudden closure of a gym in Kitchener has left clients in the dark. Some kids are without classes and parents without answers as to where their money went. CTV's Ashley Bacon joins us now from Playgrounds Movement Training Center in Kitchener. So Ashley, first of all, when did this all happen?
Tony, with signs posted on the door and their website essentially taken down, clients found out on Monday that the facility was closed indefinitely. 13-year-old Chuck Bender taking part in a parkour class earlier this year at Playgrounds Movement Training Center in Kitchener.
I always wanted to have a sport that I was good at and really liked doing. So I found this by one of my friends. So then I've just been going here for the past 4 years.
But on Monday, Chuck and his mom, Amanda, learning that the facility was abruptly closed.
We got our email, typically our invitation for the competitive league in August. We paid for it. It's been 2 weeks already since the beginning of the season, and there was absolutely no indication that it was going to be closed.
Forking over around $1,200 for the classes, only to learn from the company's website refunds would not be issued at this time, saying in part online, unfortunately, due to the nature of the closure, we are unable to process any refunds for payments that have already taken place.
I do not expect to recoup any of that money back. I am assuming that this business may have gone under or bankrupt.
That's the risk that you run as a consumer when you give money ahead of time before getting a service, is you're really, taking a calculated risk that the service provider will be in business for some time.
Retail analyst Bruce Winder says customers will likely have to wait in line to get their money back.
It sounds like what happens in this case is they've appointed a trustee, the court's appointed a trustee, and that trustee will sell off any assets they have. And normally what happens is the preferred creditors, preferred lenders get paid first. And consumers, unfortunately, are usually at the end of that line, and they may or may not get any payment.
For Chuck and Amanda, the closest parkour classes are now in Burlington.
The only problem is it is an hour drive.
I think most people are just upset about losing, the business, the financial aspect of losing the money, but also an activity for your child to do.
For clients who are hoping to get a refund, the website does say they should expect an email on how to make a claim. Now, CTV News reached out to the owners for comment. They did not get back to us before going to air. Tony.
Ashley Bacon reporting. Thank you. In health news, it is HPV Prevention Week, an effort to raise awareness about the virus and its links to cancer.
Now that we know that the virus is what causes the cancers or the changes, we can actually go and look for the virus. So we're actually looking and picking up people who are infected and then being able to target, treat, and in those cases also vaccinate those women to try and prevent them from getting cancer. So prevention is great. That's what we want to do. But the earlier you start and vaccinate your children, and I'm talking males and females, because head and neck cancer is really fast-growing cancer amongst men. So the earlier we vaccinate our children, then we protect them from these kinds of cancers.
You can see the full interview with Dr. Nicola Mercer at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Okay, we have a look at the Grand River in Galt tonight. That sunset happening earlier and earlier. A little bit of cloud in the sky, it looks like, as well, after a beautiful day today. Alex is back with a look at our forecast in just a few minutes. Also ahead, Waterloo's groundbreaking giraffe researcher cements her place in Canadian culture in a new Heritage Minute, honoring her work. And next, heightened security around some synagogues, here at home and around the world, after what police are calling a terror attack in the UK. Welcome back, and shout out to our studio director, Alan Fraser, for keeping everybody quiet in here while we're on the air. I'm kidding. There are only two other people in here right now. Alan was making a joke.
You need to know what happens behind the scenes. That's it.
We're all about the behind the scenes for you here. We are an open book. Now, as far as the forecast goes, I was out in my shorts and t-shirt again today because I'm not putting it away until it's too cold. It felt a little bit warmer today than we saw yesterday, because that was a bit of a shock to the system yesterday to feel what fall actually should feel like right now. But now, a little bit of a rebound.
Yeah, a little bit of a rebound, and it's going to get warmer and warmer, especially as we look ahead to the next couple of days, too.
Love it.
So definitely don't put those shorts away. But we're really noticing overnight into the early morning hours, it is quite cool, quite chilly. But yes, you don't want to maybe wear your shorts at 6 o'clock in the morning, Tony.
No,
unless you want to.
Not at that hour.
So take a live look from a beautiful Gulf this evening. That sun's still out. We've got just a few clouds out there. Water nice and calm, nice blue sky. A lovely, lovely Thursday evening. And if you have maybe stepped outside this evening, you may have noticed a little bit of a breeze as well. Noticeably a little bit cooler compared to the 20-degree daytime high we saw today. But in that direct sunlight, it felt even warmer. So looking at our futurecast, getting into the rest of the evening, mainly clear conditions, even getting into your overnight. Clear sky expected. Really, Friday getting into your Saturday. Saturdays in particular is when we could see a little bit more cloud cover start to develop. So mix of sun and cloud is expected for that day. But this is where we're really going to see another warm up and more of those summer-like conditions as well. So right now, temperature-wise, so we've dropped a couple of degrees down from if you joined us during the 5 o'clock hour. You would have seen, so 20 degrees is our daytime high. We hit that at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We are currently sitting at 18. Many other areas too. Toronto, Hamilton sitting into the upper teens. And if you're a little bit further south, west, Sarnia, London in the low 20s this hour. So feeling a little bit warmer there. Overnight, 6 degrees. That is our expected overnight low. Clear sky for the most part expected. And then really getting into the overnight is when we could see some fog patches start to develop, in particular after midnight. So between midnight, overnight into the early morning hours is when you can see that. So something to keep in mind. Be safe if you are out on the roads, maybe coming home from your overnight shift. It should dissipate, though, by the morning hours. So tomorrow, another warm-up in store. 26 degrees is our expected daytime high, mainly sunny sky. That UV index, though, similar story, considered to be quite high. We've seen that over the last few days or so, sitting at a 6. So we are definitely above seasonal for this time of year by a few degrees. Record high, though. Yeah, this is when it felt almost 30 degrees back in 1971 on this day. And overnight, if you think 6 degrees is cool, minus 2.2 is what it was in terms of overnight record low set back in 1974. And in terms of that sunset, we are getting closer to 7 o'clock on the dot. Tonight it is going down at 7:02. So we're definitely noticing those days getting shorter and shorter. So over the next few days, this is the warm up that we're expected to see, mid to even upper 20s. 26, 28, 27 over the next several days getting into your weekend. Yeah, mix of sun and cloud. It should warm up just a little bit in terms of overnight lows. We shouldn't be getting into our expected overnight, so not dropping down to our 1 degree or so. And apologies, it looks like we might have a bit of an error with the other two boards. There's always some kind of fun with our other two boards, so apologies for that.
I think I know what happened. I think we're in the 5 o'clock sequence by accident.
Don't worry, we're going to make sure that gets corrected for you tomorrow. But hey, the magic of magic and fun of live television.
Yes, always something to surprise us.
Always something. That hasn't happened to me yet, so apologies, everyone. We'll make sure we get that for you for tomorrow, of course. But looking at our weather watcher for tonight, really a tranquil shot. The sunset at Laurel Creek Conservation Area. Chris sending us this photo last night saying it was a beautiful evening, a great sunset, highlighting the clouds as well, which look pretty cool. We've got a nice mixture of some colors there, and that water just looking nice and calm. So thank you, Chris, for sending this and being tonight's weather watcher. So we're getting some really nice sunrise and some sunset shots, and it's feeling again more summer-like with these warmer and above seasonal conditions.
And we have such gems of locations to see that western exposure with those sunsets lately. I think they've looked a little more golden lately.
Yes, they really have.
All right, Alex, thank you.
Thank you.
Talk to you later. British police are calling an attack in Manchester, England, an act of terror after a man drove a car into a crowd at a synagogue and began stabbing people. CTV's Heather Wright now on the fear and heightened security at synagogues everywhere.
On this, the holiest day of the Jewish calendar, an attack at a synagogue. Police say a man wearing what appeared to be an explosive vest first drove a car into people gathered outside a temple in Manchester, England, then got out of his car and attacked others with a knife. He was then shot dead by police while trying to get inside the building. 2 people were killed, 4 others injured.
We shouldn't be scared to feel or believe in what we believe.
The attack has been deemed an act of terror and occurred in an area of Manchester home to many Orthodox Jews. It comes at a time of heightened fears in the Jewish community and rising anti-Semitism around the world. The man suspected of carrying out the attack has been identified as 35-year-old Jihad al-Shami. 3 other people have been arrested as well on suspicion of commission, preparation and instigation of acts of terrorism and remain in custody.
I'm already able to say that additional police assets are being deployed to synagogues across the country, and we will do everything to keep our Jewish community safe.
Here at home, security has also increased outside of synagogues. Toronto Police announced last month they would increase patrols throughout the high holidays, as well as during the lead up to the 2-year anniversary of the Hamas attacks of October 7th.
Scary times, obviously, okay, and it's crazy. It's crazy. This cannot continue.
If you can always justify our murder, then it doesn't stop.
Today, Prime Minister Mark Carney called the Manchester synagogue attack an appalling anti-Semitic atrocity, vowing we will always protect the inalienable rights of Jewish communities to live their lives free from intimidation and threats of violence. And despite the increased security, there is a fear within the Jewish community, a concern that what happened in England could happen here. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Some southwestern Ontario farmers are getting ready to open their fields to the world. Coming up, the International Plowing Match is coming back to Bruce County. We'll hear from some of the hosts on the significance of this opportunity. A dire warning for Canada Post. The Federation of Independent Business says the agency risks losing nearly 2/3 of its small business customers if the workers' strike continues. The CFIB says last year's strike cost small businesses more than $1 billion, and 13% of those surveyed have stopped using Canada Post since the disruption. The organization says nearly 2/3 of respondents said they would also switch shipping providers if another strike happened. The latest job action was launched after the federal government announced a major overhaul of Canada Post to address its troubled finances. The CEO of Canada Post says the proposals are needed to keep it financially sustainable. All right, recapping our top stories now. Leanne Evans in studio with us tonight with the latest. And Leanne, we're looking at the ongoing debate over speed cameras in Ontario and here in the region too.
Yeah, we know Premier Doug Ford has shared his thoughts about them, proposing legislation to ban them. Now a region of Waterloo councillor is hoping to press pause on expanding them locally. Councillor Colleen James has put forward a notice of motion for a committee meeting next week, saying she doesn't want to cancel the program but believes adjustments could be made. The committee meets Tuesday. If the motion passes, it would still need to go to regional council for final approval. Also, the latest on a stalemate involving a delayed condo development in Kitchener. Some buyers say they were promised an option to get out of their contracts and get their deposits back, but the developer says that's not the case. Buyers say they were never told getting their money back after construction stalled wasn't an option until very late in the game. A legal expert says these people still have some options to fight for a better outcome.
And Leanne, we just touched on it in Heather Wright's story, and online our digital team has some more local info. Regional police doing some extra checks at synagogues.
Yes, Tony, they will be checking in with the local Jewish community in light of that attack that happened in the UK. Police say they want to support the community as this news makes international headlines. For more information on the attack and supports closer to home, you can scan the QR code. Go to our website, ctvnewskitchener.ca. Tony.
Leanne Evans with our top stories. Leanne, thank you so much.
Thank you.
One of the biggest rural showcases in Canada is coming back to Bruce County to mark the return of the International Plowing Match next summer. Local farmers opened up their farms to the public. CTV's Scott Miller reports.
Jim and Donna Fisher were more than proud to show off their family maple syrup operation to the public as part of a recent farm tour promoting the International Plowing Match's return to Bruce County.
Very excited. We couldn't be more pumped in the sense Bruce County is home territory for us, and Brockton, the neighboring communities. It's all good, and just to be asked was just an honor just to participate.
7 Bruce County farms were on display to help kick off the lead up to next year's International Plowing Match that will be returning to Bruce County for the 4th time.
My dad plowed in the 1976 match, so this will be a 50th anniversary of it being in the same place 50 years later. Yeah. So in Bruce County we've had the privilege of hosting it 4 times. And that's quite an honor for us, too.
The IPM has been showcasing agriculture for more than 120 years, featuring farming demos and plowing competitions. But in recent years, urban visitors have been going, getting their first and possibly only taste of rural life.
It's good how the urban public's very involved with it and how it's getting more and more geared that agriculture and urban can meet together and see how each interacts and the new technologies that are taking place. That's pretty cool.
The 2026 International Plowing Match will be located just outside of Waterloo on more than 1,200 acres of Bruce County farmland.
The whole thing has evolved, and we're trying to evolve with it. We're trying to bring this plow match to be one of the best ever. We're putting it back out on the farm.
The Fishers for One will definitely be there.
We both attended 2 plowing matches previous, the 76 and the 93, so 50 years later, here we are. And we're going to take the next generation, and they're pretty excited about it too.
Near Walkerton, Scott Miller, CTV News.
A new era is being ushered in at one of Southern Ontario's most famous festivals. A passing of the torch at Stratford Festival. We will meet the new artistic director, who is set to carry on a decades-old tradition.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The Stratford Festival season is slowly winding down, but a new era is just getting underway. The theater company has named its next artistic director, taking over from longtime leader Anne Innis Dagg. And as CTV's Alexandra Hollick tells us, the incoming AD already has some ideas waiting in the wings.
The Stratford Festival is setting the stage for a new lead.
So I'm Jonathan Church.
A dual UK-Canada citizen, Jonathan Church will be the theatre company's next artistic director.
At the moment, I'm artistic director designate, which means in just over a year's time, I'll be artistic director.
For the next few months, he'll be working alongside outgoing AD Anthony Cimolino, who's closing out a decades-long career both on stage and behind the scenes.
They are big shoes to fill, and Anthony's been with the company for a long time. I mean, the simple answer is I suppose I have to take the best of what Anthony can give me and bring the best of what I've learned and hope it's enough.
Church directed dozens of productions overseas. He's best known for his work at the Chichester Festival Theatre, a sister stage to the one in Stratford.
The mayor of Chichester saw a documentary about the Festival Theatre and rang up Tyrone Guthrie and said, I want to build one of these here in Chichester, and the rest was history.
Church also has history with the theatre company here.
I've been coming to Stratford for over 20 years. I've seen dozens of shows here.
The laureled conqueror, the mighty Roman!
I got to see the legendary Christopher Plummer do Caesar and Cleopatra.
What strength I have is mine own.
I also saw his Tempest, which is still, I think, the best version of the Tempest I've ever seen.
Let your indulgence set me free.
Church says he plans to draw from his past experience, but wants to put a spotlight on what the Stratford Festival has already established. That includes maintaining its American fan base and unifying theater goers on both sides of the border.
Just because one person or one group of people in America are making a certain set of decisions doesn't mean that's how all Americans feel.
As for how Church feels about moving into his new role,
it'll be watch, learn, and start the amazing process of thinking about my first season.
Church will officially take his place as artistic director late next year, with the 2027 season being his first in his new role. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Stratford.
More news ahead. First, let's check in with Alex.
Well, many across southern Ontario, either in the upper teens or low 20s out there this hour. Still noticing a little bit of a breeze. We'll let you know how cool it'll be to start off your day, and wake up weather coming up after the break. Here's what you can expect for your Thursday night lineup at 7 o'clock. Stick around for E-Talk before The Big Bang Theory. Then at 8, Hell's Kitchen. At 9, MasterChef Canada. Then back-to-back episodes again of The Big Bang Theory.
Leanne's back with us for a look at one of the stories we'll be following tonight. This is an exciting one, Leanne.
Yeah, it is, Tony. The Toronto Blue Jays will find out tonight who they will face in the American League Division Series. Fans should keep a close eye on tonight's game between the Yankees and Red Sox. New York held on for the win in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series. Tonight's winner will head to Toronto Saturday for Game 1 of the ALDS. Tony, I know you will be having your eyes peeled on the TV tonight.
Leanne, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm working tonight.
It's crazy.
Thanks, Leanne.
How'd she know?
Right, and it's a good night to watch the game outdoors on your deck, maybe, if you got a TV outside.
Not too bad. And maybe if you want to have a little bundled sweater up or a blanket with you as well. And overnight, though, things are going to dip down. And even tomorrow morning by 6 a.m., 6 degrees with some fog patches. Sunny sky by 10.
Okay, so have the fire on, too.
Yeah.
Have the fire lit. Yep. Well, great time of year for this. Southern Ontario popping with color, especially up at Algonquin Park. The leaves are turning. The views are stunning.
CTV's Rob Cooper found out what makes this season special and how to soak in nature's annual show safely.
Whether it's Muskoka or Algonquin Park, you don't have to look very far to find a perfect view.
We heard a lot about Algonquin Park. It will be like so beautiful in the fall season. So we want to experience that one.
You like what you see so far?
Oh, yeah.
This time of year, it's all about the fall colors. People from all over the world flock to the region just to snap the perfect pic.
I'm from Germany and I want to see the fall. Just I expected. Yes. It's beautiful, the wet trees.
Staff at Algonquin Provincial Park said the colors are already at its peak for the season, a little early, partly because of the summer drought.
Yeah, so right now we're actually at 100% with 30% leaf drop. So we are at peak here in Algonquin Park, especially with our reds and oranges. Those yellows and golden colors are still to come, however.
Known as the Golden After Show, those yellows and oranges will likely appear later in the month.
So good to be up here. It's good for the soul, peace of mind, all that. But I've seen better years, but I'd rather be here.
Got up here a little later than I expected, but so far so good. And it's absolutely beautiful out here, so how could you not want to be up here?
About 1.4 million people visit the park every year. The majority of those show up during the fall season for the colors. Visitors are reminded to avoid parking next to Highway 60 for obvious safety reasons. While the colors may not be as dominant as previous years, the show is still a go until the wind and rain arrive.
Wind and rain are certainly a buzzkill. Wind and rain, of course, knock the leaves down and actually creates a shorter fall color season.
Honestly, personally, I don't really like the full red color. I prefer the color with different, let's say, yellow, orange and green and everything mixed together. It makes me feel much better.
Okay, so a few things to keep in mind if you are heading up. For one, animals. 2, your speed on the highway as it will be busy. And of course, don't park next to the highway. Other than that, take a ton of pictures and send them to us. Rob Cooper, CTV News, Algonquin Park.
It's funny, I don't remember Rob ever being a selfie guy when I was at CTV Barrie, but how things change. Finally for us tonight, a new Canadian Heritage Minute that's sharing the story of groundbreaking giraffe researcher and Waterloo resident Anne Innis Dagg.
Her life is one of facing barriers, but refusing to be stopped. CTV's Krista Simpson with that story.
When I was little, my mother took me to the zoo.
A new minute-long summary of Anne Innis Dagg's remarkable life.
I was expecting Mr. Innis. You misrepresented yourself.
I certainly did not. I am A. Innis.
If I knew you were Miss A. Innis, I never would have invited you.
Exactly.
As a 23-year-old in 1956, she went to South Africa alone to study the animals, something that was unheard of at the time.
There were so many restrictions. People didn't want her to go because she was a woman. They said, a single woman? Are you kidding me? What's going to happen over there?
But Innis Dagg forged ahead, ultimately writing the definitive text on giraffes that that's still referenced today.
She really was the pioneer or queen of giraffe research.
Still, Innis Dagg went on to face numerous other obstacles. In spite of her work, she was denied tenure at the University of Guelph and was passed over by other academic institutions. Recognition of all she accomplished only coming later in her life.
She would speak up for the underdogs, and myself and many others that are in the field, not just with giraffes, look to her as an inspiration for championing not only animals, but people as well.
Historica Canada timing the release of their Heritage Minute on Innis Dagg to coincide with Women's History Month.
I think not enough people know about her. She made an impact, a very positive one, not only here in the country, but in many ways far beyond on the world stage.
This is a time when we need a Canadian hero that exemplifies what I believe are Canadian values, not just for marginalized communities, not just for animals, but for all of us.
Innis Dagg died last year. Her daughter hopes the Heritage Minute will inspire others to pursue their passions.
I want people to know that there's somebody who's done all that kind of stuff, and if that empowers you, whatever your thing is, you should go after and do it. Just persevere. Forget the people who say, well, no one's done that before.
Mary Dagg also hopes this retelling of her mother's story will help shed light on the plight of giraffes in the wild.
Right now, their numbers are down significantly, about 40% in the last 30, 40 years.
The foundation in Innis Dagg's name continuing to work to educate and help protect the animal she loved so much. You can catch the Heritage Minute about Innis Dagg on television, in movie theaters, and online. Krista Simpson, CTV News.
Here, here. Thank you, Krista. And really, what a beautiful overdue recognition to what was essentially an injustice. Someone who was trying to help us understand the world around us.
Yeah, and just having that local connection too is pretty incredible.
It's profound, and now it's immortalized in that Heritage Minute, as are so many other stories of Canada's history. In the meantime, that is our show for tonight. Thanks for watching. Back here tonight at 11:30. Have a good night.
Take care.